Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're working on this long bikini cover up, and as you can see it's very long and it goes all the way to your ankles. We have a little bit of a layering here where the front panel is a little bit shorter and we have slits on the side, and then of course the back panel is a little bit longer, but it looks nice, super sexy, as you will see in the pictures here. And yeah, it's a very simple, very repetitive stitch, but very simple, and it doesn't take too much yarn. I used 4 skeins at 50 grams each to make this complete, and I had maybe like a fistful of a ball left all together after I finished everything. And this is a small, so if you're making something that is a small like me, you're good to just get 4 skeins at 50 grams. And if you're making something that is a little bit larger, please then go ahead and add a skein or 2 depending on your size, okay? But this is what we're gonna be working on. Let's go ahead and gather our stuff and we will go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we get this project started, I'm going to show you the materials that we'll be using for it. And as you can see here, I have my yarn. This is yarn that I got a while ago while I was still in Canada. I ordered it on Amazon. This is called Alize Diva Plus, and it's silk and mesmerized effect, okay? This skein here is 100 grams, and I'm going to need about 4 of these all together, and I'm doing a small, okay? So this bikini cover dress is a small. If you're doing it bigger, then you will need to make sure you have more yarn, but just keep in mind I'm gonna need 400 grams altogether because I have 4 of these at 100 grams each, okay? What else do we need to know here? So this is again 100% microfiber acrylic. So it's a very nice, very strong yarn. And yeah, so this is what I'm using for it. Of course, you can use any yarn of your side, of your liking. And if it's not this one, then of course you can use whichever one you want. For color, it says color is 05. I'm going to call this like goldish, yeah, it's like a gold color. And what else can I tell you guys about this yarn? I think that's about it here. So this is what I'm gonna be using. Like I said again, you can use whatever yarn of your choice. Let me see, does it talk about what the recommended hook size is? I think it will be here. I do see the knitting, or for crochet hook size, it's 3 to 4 millimeter crochet hook is what your recommendation is. But it's gonna be, I guess, what you want. But this is also a lightweight number 3 yarn, okay? So as you can see, it's thin, it's not too thick. All right, so for a crochet hook size, I will be using my favorite, which is 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, or G6, which is a little bit bigger than what is recommended, but I always don't often use the recommended hook size. I have my scissors, 2 stitch markers here. I have my darning needle and my measuring tape, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so before we get started, I'm just gonna talk about the sizing here a little bit because I'm not making it in the exact size that I'm making for my actual bikini cover dress. I'm going to show you guys a sample because it's a very easy pattern that you repeat until you have what you need, okay? So because of that, I'm going to be showing you guys a sample, but I'm gonna be talking about how many stitches I did for my actual small dress as well, okay? So the first thing is I'm making one that goes to my, just a little bit above my ankles, okay? So it's very long. So what I did was I measured in inches how long it's gonna be if I put it right below my collarbone, or just right on my collarbone, and I let it drop all the way to just above my ankles, okay? And when I do that, I needed to do 255 stitches, so 150 plus 5, okay? So it's a very long chain to begin with, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do a chain of 25 to show you guys a sample, okay? So of course you do your slip knot like we always do, and then you start your chain. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 20. 1 2 3 4 5, okay? So this is my chain of 25. in my actual project, I do 255, okay? 255 is how many chains I do. It's very long. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our first row. I'm going to skip 4 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the 5th, this one here, I'm going to do a double crochet stitch going in the back of the chain. So like this, okay? What this does is it's going to do the first 3 stitches or the first 2 stitches are my double crochet, and the next 2 are the chain 2 that I would like to do in between. So that means that I do a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then I skip 2, 1, 2. In the 3rd, I do a double crochet in the back of the foundation chain, just like that, okay? And then I do a chain 2, and then I go and I skip 1, 2. In this 3rd one, I do a double crochet in the back of the foundation chain, just like that. So very, very simple. You guys have seen me using this stitch before. We're just creating a mesh effect, so it's not going to be something that is too complicated. It's very simple. So this is what you continue to do. You create this thing that looks like a ladder like this, and you will do this all the way to the end here. When you've reached the end, you come back and I'll show you how to do row 2, and then it's just a repeat from there on, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this row, and then I'll show you guys in row 2 how to start that. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and show you guys, because I do end up with 2 stitches here. Okay, it's not a problem. Usually when you do these kind of stitches, you can either do the exact same number of stitches, but somehow you have made a mistake. I probably miscalculated somewhere. But either do add an extra stitch to have an even number, or reduce the stitch by 1, okay? But either way, as you can see here, I have 1, 2 stitches left, and instead of skipping 2 stitches, I'm going to skip 1 and just do my double crochet. After I do my chain 2, obviously, I'm going to just do my double crochet in the final stitch. Okay, so this is not gonna make a big difference when you do something like this. So either make the correction in the terms of stitches, or just do that at the end. Okay, it's not a big deal at all. So but let's say you had like 4 stitches left at the end, then you would skip 3 instead of 2. But in this case, I have less, so I skip 1 and I go into my second stitch. And this is what you should have for your first row, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you turn, and then you just go ahead and do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. And again, your chain 4 counts as a stitch plus 2 chains plus chain 2 in between. Then you do a chain 2, and you go into the next stitch and do your double crochet. And the next stitch, meaning you skip the 2 in between, continuing to skip the 2 in between. Then you chain 2 and you skip 2 stitches, and you go into your 3rd stitch and do your double crochet, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, go into your next stitch and do a double crochet, and the next stitch just happened to be on top of the previous double crochet. Okay, so again, a very, very, very simple stitch, but it's going to create a very nice meshy, almost like a fishnet kind of dress that we're making here. Okay, and then you just do the same thing there, and you go into your final or second last stitch here, you chain 2, and for this part here, you're going to skip 1, 2, and in the second stitch, you go and do your double crochet. So in the 3rd, sorry, so you skip 1, 2, in the 3rd, you do your double crochet from the bottom of that chain 4 that we did. So you will have something that looks just like that, okay? But this is going to be this is the length of our dress. So let's say this is our body right here. The hook is our body. The dress, we're working the dress up like this. So this is how the design is gonna look. We're not working it like this. We're not doing horizontal. We're doing vertical like this. Okay, because we're doing a very long chain. So like I said again, I started with 255 or 256 if you want to make sure the stitches are correct. Then you just keep working it upwards until you have a very long panel. Okay, so you're gonna continue to do this like this until you have what you need. And how you know that is you're going to measure the circumference again of the widest part of your hips, which in this case for me, let's say it's 40. and I'm going to do something that is this long because we're doing two panels that are exactly the same. We're going to do half of the panel to be half of our circumference of the widest part of our hips. And again, this is when you really stretch your work. So in this case here, we're going to stretch our work in this direction, and when you get to the half of your circumference, then you're going to stop there. So I'm going to stop at 20. If I stretch it like this and I get my 20 inches, I will stop there, and then I'll come back and show you guys what that looks like, and then we will have the second panel started that will pretty much be the exact same as the first one. So for now, just work your full work until you have the first panel completed. See you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my first panel here. So as you can see, this is pretty much, this could either be the bottom or the top, but this is pretty much how long this is. If I just keep bringing it up like this, it's very, very long, again, because it's going to go all the way to just right above our ankles. And this is how it looks like. Okay, so this is the net effect that I was talking about. And if I stretch it as much as I can in this direction here, I cannot show you guys the whole thing on video here, but I get my 20 inches if I stretch it from here to here, and which means I have my first panel completed. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the second one. And what I will do is I will pretty much just repeat the exact same thing again. So of course for you, if you have forgotten how many stitches you did or anything like that, just pause the video here, rewind it to the beginning, rewatch it again, and work following or through it again. And then at the end of it, you will have the second panel that is exactly like this. And when we have both panels completed, then we're gonna move on to the next step of the project. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my second panel. When I have that completed as well, I will come back to show you guys what that looks like and what we need to do next. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked on my second panel. So this is it here. I have the exact same number of rows here as I did the first panel. And yes, this is about 30 rows altogether for this. And this, like I said in the first one, is very, very stretchy. So I'm doing it at this length. When I stretch it, it does cover the widest part of my hips. So that is done for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the yarn here. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of a tail hanging, because this is the top where we're gonna connect the two sides of the two panels together to cover for where it goes on top of our shoulder. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my scissors, I'm gonna cut it somewhere here, and then I'm gonna just gonna do a slip stitch here. So I already did the chain one to slip stitch like that, and this is gonna be one of the corners where we do connect the yarn to connect the sides here. Okay, now with that done, I realized something after I just finished the second one. I wanted to line it up to make sure I had the length exactly the same, because I had a feeling that the second one was not as or the first one is not as long as the second one, and I couldn't understand why. So I ended up lining it up very nice like this, and then I'm gonna do this off camera here for you so I can show it on camera. But when I line it up really nice and straight, so I'm gonna put it down here, you will see the difference in length here. Okay, so it turns out that I made a mistake in the first panel here, and it's shorter than the first panel. Okay, or it's shorter than the first panel is shorter than the second panel, and I think I just did a mistake by doing a lot more chains in the second one than I did the first one. But I'm not going to make the correction. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it like this, and the back of my dress is going to have a longer part than the front side. So I'm not gonna make that correction. If you, however, wanted to make a correction and increase, you will just have to count how many rows you have if you went down this way. So you'll have to count all of these squares going down this way, and however many you're missing, you can increase on this side. On the short one, you can increase on this side going down. And how you would do that is you will just connect your connect your yarn somewhere here chain 2, then do your double crochet here, chain 2, do your double crochet here, and then you just continue like we did the first time, the first way. The way we work like this with this project, you can also work it this way. So that is a way you can correct it. I am going to choose to not do mine like that because I think I like that the back will have a longer piece than the front. So that's, I'm gonna leave it like this, okay? All right, so now that I have explained that mistake, which is not such a bad mistake after all, I'm going to now talk about how we're gonna join our work together. So this is the top of it, obviously here. And as you can see, this is a string that I left hanging from the first panel. And then this is the a string I left hanging from the second panel, okay? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to join it on top here like this. And I'm probably gonna do just 4 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So up to here, or up to the 5th one, let's say, I will put a stitch marker there. And this stitch marker is pretty much showing me where I'm gonna stop when I join it. So I'm gonna use my darning needle. I'm gonna put the yarn through and I'm gonna join the top here like this. And I will do the same on this side. So line it up nice and proper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, in that 5th one, I'm gonna put my stitch marker and that's where I'm gonna join, okay? Now, when I've joined these top parts here, then I'm going to section out where my armpits are going to come through, okay? And for me right now, it's probably gonna be somewhere around here so that these are my armholes here. And when we have done that, then we join the rest of it down. So I'm just gonna, what I will do here just to kind of remove this or to do this part so I can show you guys how we join it. I'm just gonna join this first section here and then I'll explain how to join the rest of it because we're not gonna do the joining all of it on camera. Otherwise, we'll be here for an hour and a half to do this. It takes time to do these kind of small things. So I will show you quickly how I will join this one side. So I will just take my darning needle here and I'm gonna go into that very first stitch and then the very first stitch on the other side. And I'm going to pull and then I'm going to do that one more time into the same stitch, just like this. Okay, so that's gonna secure that section there. And then for the rest of it, I just pick up some loops on this side and on the other side. And I pull, and then I line up some stitches on this side and to the other side. And I pull. And then I just do this pretty much until I get to my stitch marker, right? So this is not something very difficult when you're joining a work that is a mesh project like this. It makes it so that even though there's no stitches, actual stitches to work into, you just have to do it very nice this way, okay? And it's not gonna look too messy when you finish it because the actual project is very meshy, no pun intended. So you're just gonna do this all the way like this, and then I will remove my stitch marker so I can work into that stitch as well because that is the section I need to work into. So this section here is where I go to, okay? And then we do that final one, let's say twice like this. And what I usually do is I don't remove I don't remove that. I leave it like that in case I need to make any corrections. So as you can see here, this is the joining. We leave it like this. And also at the end of it, we're gonna flip our work so that this is the outside. But for now, we leave it like this because we're joining on this side. Okay, so as you can see, there is not too difficult. You will do the same on this side here. So let's say then on the side that I have finished, let's say I will do an armhole that is this big. Then I'll take the stitch marker and I'll put it there. And then I will join from where the stitch marker is all the way down, okay? But what I'm gonna do with mine here is because I have this difference in lengths for my two panels and I'm choosing to leave them like this, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to join it just until maybe up here so I can have a slit that allows this opening here like this. So let's say then I take a stitch marker and I put it somewhere here. So it means then that I'm joining from where the stitch marker is here all the way to where the second stitch marker is, and I leave the rest of it like that. And when I finish this side, then I flip it and I line up my stitches to be exactly the same as on the other side, and I do the same. when you have done all of that, come back to the video and I'll show you. I have a little bit of leftover yarn that we can do a little bit of a sleeve here, and then we will go ahead and finish the project after that. But for now, do all of your joining. You have the side to do, and then you have these, or both of the sides. And again, the idea of leaving a slit like I did here is my my preference. If you don't want to leave a slit, you can join it all the way down. But if you have this problem where one panel is longer than the other, then it means there's nothing to join this with, so you will end up leaving this panel hanging like that. Or if you have panels that are exactly the same, then you can join all the way to the end here, and that's how you will have it. And if you want to leave a slit and you want to leave it like this for panels that are equal, then you will just leave it and you will have an opening like this, but both panels will be kind of ending in the same spot. Okay, I hope I'm not explaining and going too much into details here, but that's what we're going to be working on. I'm going to do my joining and I'll see you guys when I have joined everything so I can show you how to start the sleeves. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined my dress here. So the two panels are joined together. Okay, and as you can see here, this is the difference in the height in the two panels. So it does give this section nice falling here, especially with this being in the back and this being in the front. It actually looks really nice because I just tried it on. But yeah, so I pretty much joined it until here, so it goes right beneath or below my knee, and then it opens up, which is really nice. And obviously you will see in the pictures that that is how it looks like. And with the how much slit you leave open, it's gonna be up to you, obviously. And then we go all the way to the top here. As you can see, this is the opening for the neckline, and then this is the armhole right here. So now I decided to do something a little bit different. I did the sleeve off camera just so you guys can look at it, because maybe some of you would like it to just not have any sleeves at all like this. And if so, then it's just gonna look like this, where you're gonna have your opening here. But if you do choose to do the sleeve, I did about 5 rows of the sleeve here, so not too big of it. It's just a little bit to give it a little bit of a style here. Okay, so with this side done, if you choose to do the sleeves, and I'll show you how to do the sleeves on this side, just so you guys know how to do it in case you want to do the sleeves. And if you don't, then you just kind of leave it like this. So this is pretty much how the opening would look like. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and grab my yarn. So this part here is a simple because we are just doing the same thing we did the whole body of the dress with, but we're doing that on this section here. But to start it off, we're just going to do a slip knot here to be able to create our stitch to work into, like that. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and hold our work like this. This is just right underneath the armpit here, and then this part here is the top. So we're going to be working from the bottom section, and because I'm right-handed, we're going to be working in a circle like this. So we just do that, and then we will look at our work here. This is where the armpit section is here, and I'm going to go right into this stitch right here. Okay, and I'm going to bring my loop of the slip knot that we just did through like this, and then I'm going to do a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this chain of 4, the first 2 chains counts as a double crochet, and the 2 next chains count as a chain 2 that we do between our stitches. Okay, and then I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch here, and go into that section and do my double crochet. Then I'll chain 2, then I'll go into this section here and do a double crochet. So again, we're just working on top of the previous double crochet, and with the 2 chains that we're doing between, it's to cover for the chain 2 that we have here. Okay, so we just continue this all around until you get back to the bottom here. So work your stitches until you get to this very last stitch here, and then come back to the video. I will show you how to start the next stitch. Then I will have you guys do that until you have the length that you're looking for. But for now, let's meet back where we started this row. I'm just coming back here to show you guys the top. So I worked from the bottom here all the way up here, and just to show you guys how to quickly do the top here, as you can see, we have two of the stitches joined together, so it's a little bit of a bigger stitch. We just do one inside of that section like this, so we don't have to worry about doing too much math here. So you just do that there, and then you continue. So chain 2, and then into the next stitch you go, or skipping 2 stitches and then into the next stitch you go. Okay, so then you just continue this until you get to the bottom. So I'll see you guys back there. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see, I just did my last half double crochet on top of this double crochet here, and then as you can see, we have this coming out of here, and now we're going to work one more right there. Okay, so we do the regular chain 2, and then we do our next double crochet in that gap like this. Okay, and then we do a chain of 2 again, and then we slip stitch on top of, so we can 1 2, in the third one we do a slip stitch there, and this joins this row together, and that's how it looks like. Okay, and then we do a chain of 4, 1 2 3 4. So in every start of this row you're going to be doing a chain of 4, and then you do a double crochet on top of this stitch right here. Okay, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, this here, and then go into the previous, on top of the previous double crochet, and do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches and do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet. Okay, so you repeat this until you have the length of the sleeve that you're looking for. Okay, so like I said, I did 5 rows here, so obviously I will do 5 rows on this side to be consistent. You can do less, because if you look at it right now, just with 1 row you already have a little bit of a sleeve there that looks nice, but it's up to you if you want to continue that. So decide how many rows you want to do for the sleeve, and then do that number and then come back. I will do the next 4, and when I have my 5 total completed, I'll come back and then we'll look at how it looks like. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my 5 rows for the sleeve here, and I've done my chain 2. I have worked on this already, so I'm going to obviously do the slip stitch. So 1 2, and in the third here I'm going to do my slip stitch to close this side like this, so it joins the 2 sides together. And because I'm only doing the 5 rows, I'm of course now gonna end this here, so I'm gonna cut my yarn, and then I'm going to slip stitch here to lock that section in, then I'm going to weave this in. So as you can see, then that just kind of ends like this. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Here I have this end here to weave in and this end here to weave in for the sleeves. I have already weaved in all the other ends for the project, so those are all done. But this is pretty much how it looks with the sleeves on like this. Okay, so very nice. It's very casual, and then of course it's super long. So we go all the way to the bottom, where then we have these layered panels, where the back is gonna be the long one and the front is gonna be this one here. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the project here. This is a very simple one to do. It's gonna look really nice in the summer with my bikini on. I'm a little bit on the conservative side when it comes to revealing a lot of my skin. So it's going to be nice to wear this on top of my bikini while I'm on the beach and just kind of being around people on the beach, okay? So this is going to be what I'll be wearing probably most of this summer, along with all my other bikini covers. So if you enjoyed this, please go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you drop a comment. It could be just saying hello. It could be asking questions about the project. It could be suggesting future projects. But it would be nice to hear from you guys, whatever you need to say in the comment section below. And as well, please make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be notified of future videos. And of course, make sure you like the video itself and share with your loved ones, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and weave my ends here, and then I'm gonna end the video. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.